Welcome to this Operoo training video on messages and news articles. If you need any help whilst watching this video or afterwards, you can contact the Operoo support team via live chat down on here on the bottom right-hand side. Also on the top right-hand side of your account, if you click help and support, this will show you all the ways that you can contact our support team. On top of this, if you click FAQs, this will take you to the Operoo knowledge base, where there are hundreds of articles on how to complete certain tasks, including news articles and messaging. Lastly, you have a dedicated CSM or customer success manager. If you need to, please feel free to contact your CSM. Either the support team or your CSM are more than happy to help you with any query that you have. In today's video, I am going to look at messaging first, and then I'm going to look at news articles. Now, I use my system as a standalone system, so I'm not synced into any MIS such as SIMs. Firstly, we'll look at messaging. When you go to send a message within Operoo, you can send an email, you can send a push notification, or you can send an SMS. Now, if you are going to use Operoo to send text messages to parents and carers, you will just need to purchase those from Operoo. You can either purchase them as and when is required via your settings down here on the bottom left-hand side. You would just purchase those credits as is required via a credit card. Alternatively, you can purchase an unlimited SMS package, and then we would add a certain amount of SMS credits to your account. When it hit to a certain point, we would automatically top those up for you. If you are not using the unlimited package and you would like to have a look at the cost of that and receive a quote, please let your CSM know, and we can send you over a quote so you can compare costs. When you are going to message, there's a couple of ways that you can message within Operoo. So the first of which is you could send a message to an individual parent or carer if you wanted to for a specific student. To do that, if you open the student profile via the three lines, on the left-hand side, there's an option halfway down in the menu that says send message. If I click on this, it takes you to our messaging screen. Now, I'm going to go over this messaging screen in detail in a few minutes, but you will see this at several points throughout the session today. So this is where I could message directly just to the mother if I wanted to. If I go back into my homepage, the other way that I can do this is via groups. So down here on the left-hand side, I have all my groups within my Operoo account. Just say I wanted to message all of the parents of a pre-admission group, for example. If I right-click on that group and click Manage this group, it will show me a menu on the left. Right down the bottom, there's an option that says Send Messages. If I click onto that, it shows you the same screen that I showed you previously, where you can choose who you're going to communicate with and the method of communication over here. Jumping back into my home screen, the other way that I can do send a message, I should say, is via an e-form. So to the members of that e-form. So looking at my Jimmy's Farm, if I click the three lines to open up that e-form, again on the bottom left-hand side, I have an option to send messages. Clicking on this will show me all of the parents and carers of the students within that e-form. I can then choose how I'm going to communicate with those parents and carers and compose my message as I need to do so. The last way, or the last option, I should say, that you can choose to communicate and send a communication to your parents and carers is via the message center. So down here on the left-hand side, the last icon on the left, that envelope, just hovering on it now, and it does say message center. If I click in that, this is where I can also compose a message from. Now, when you first click into here, you can see some high-level analytics for your messages. So right at the top, I can see the users who have sent messages in the last 30 days. Also over to the right of that, I also have a graph that shows me the message types that were sent in the last 30 days. So for example, in the last 30 days, I've sent 11 emails within my account, 4 push notifications and 3 SMS messages. If you look further down, it gives you an audit trail of those messages that have been sent. So the last one that I sent an SMS on the 16th of May at 11:38, and I can also see the success rate of that message and the subject. But back to the success rate, I can see that 6 out of 10 text messages were successfully sent. If you wanted to have a look at the details, simply clicking the ID of that message will open up this screen. So I can see that there were 2 failed, 6 messages which were successful, and I can see which ones failed and the reason why. So for example, this one here, the number is not a valid phone number, and that's why the message didn't go through. So you have full visibility of an audit trail as to what messages have gone through and what messages haven't been sent. Over on the left-hand side as well, if I click show content, I can then see the message that was sent at that point in time. So I've got access to that information as well. If I jump back, I'm just going to jump into my message center again. So that's the audit trail that you can see about your messages that have been sent. If I clicked into an email one, I would see the same. I would see who didn't receive that email, the reason why they didn't receive that email. When you're in the messaging center, this is where you can also send messages from. So you can send a parent message, a student message, or a staff message. I'm going to stay with parent message for now. When I click on new parent message, that then opens up into this screen. This screen is asking me who I would like to send messages to. Now this is driven from your groups. So I can see my groups here on the left-hand side. If I wanted to send a message to all of my parents and carers, I would simply select Walsh Primary School. Up at the top here, I can see this filter matches 13 members. So make that selection however you need to make it. So for example, my pre-admission group, where has it gone? There we go. This filter matches 5 members. The other thing that you can do is you do have additional attributes in the middle here. So for example, student record, if I was to expand that, and medical data, I could then drill down and send a message specifically to parents and carers based on an additional criteria set here. Also on the right-hand side, I can choose to include or exclude members. So for example, I've chosen Walsh Primary School. If I know, say, Abigail Allens is leaving the school tomorrow, I might choose to exclude her. And then the parent won't receive that communication, and it is now jumped down to this filter matches 12 members. So set your selection however you need to set it within your account. Once you've made that selection, clicking next, this then opens up into the screen that you've seen several times. So it will show all of the parents and carers on the right-hand side that have access. There is this key legend here as well, which correlates to the details up at the top here. So if I look at myself, I can see I have an email address as a parent. I have a mobile phone, and I've also registered for push notifications. Under use filters, this is where you can select who is going to receive that communication. Now, if you are synced into an MIS such as Sims, when you click this, you will have an option to send to P1, P2, P3, and so forth. Because I'm using Operoo as a standalone system, I don't have those priority numbers. So in your system, as I said, if you are a synced school, you will find that you have more filters to choose who you're going to send that communication to. So you can either select an option there. For example, I've selected all contacts, and it has selected all of my contacts on the left, which are parents and carers. Alternatively, you can just select one by one. It's entirely up to you, however you may choose to make that selection. When you open up into this screen, it will default into your email screen. So if you are sending an email, you need to just populate these fields here. So the first one is a subject. So the subject of the email. You can translate the user's preferred language. So if you're not familiar with this functionality within Operoo, when a parent sets up their Operoo account, they can choose to set their Operoo Central into their language of choice. If they have set this and you select this option here, the email will be delivered to them in their language of choice. It's important to note, though, any attachments will not be translated. It will just be the body of the email itself. Also send a copy to this email address as a BCC copy. So if you needed to send a copy to somebody within the school to let them know that that communication had been sent, you could put in their email address here. You then have a reply to field. This is if you put an email address in there and the parent clicks reply on their email, that question or email response would then go to whoever's inbox has been specified here. So if you are sending an email on behalf of a staff member, you can put in their email address, and then it's their responsibility to respond to any questions that the parent or carer may have. Once you've completed those fields, then you've got the body of the email. So dear parent, carer, Dear parent carer, any of that information that you need to add to that email as to why you're sending that email. You do have certain formatting tools up here. So for instance, you can bold, you can italic, you can change the color, you can add an image if you would like to, you can add a link. So create the body of the email however you need to have it created. And not forgetting you also have the placeholders. So if I hover on the question mark here, these tell me what the placeholders are. So you can put in the first name of the contact, the full name of the contact, or the student's name themselves. If I wanted to put in the student's name, I would simply click profile first name, and that would input the student's first name. Once you've done that, you can add attachments. So when you add attachments to an email, it is a maximum of 3 attachments on an email, and they must be located, the attachments must be located in the same folder location. Lastly, you would then click send email, and that email would then be sent. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to send an SMS message. I'm going to show you what that looks like doing that. So if you wanted to send an SMS message, simply click SMS. This first one here, send a name max 11 characters only. This defaults from your main settings. So if you do want to adjust that, just reach out to the support team or your CSM, and they'll let you know exactly what field should be adjusted, and that will automatically update. So for example, I might choose to say Walsh Primary School as an abbreviation. You would then type in your message, whatever message it is that you wanted to send via SMS. You would add those placeholders if you, oh, it's just going off my screen. They're the same placeholders. They're also down here. You then choose whatever placeholders you would like to add, select whether you want to translate to the user's preferred language. And also you have a selection here. If you wanted to, please do not reply to this message. So parents won't reply. Once you've set that, let's do test SMS for now. Once you set all of that, then you would click send SMS. Oh, one last setting that I should point out, send maximum 1 copy per contact. So if you have siblings within the school and you are sending the message to your entire school, the parent will only receive 1 SMS if you select this option here. You also have this with email as well, and push notification. Once you're happy with your message, you would then click send SMS. What that does, it then comes into that messaging screen straight away. So here you can see that it's being processed. I just selected myself, so there is just the 1 message, but straight away I can see that that was successful and that message went through. If it hadn't gone through, I would have seen the error message as to why that didn't go through, and then complete whatever action was required. For example, obtain a correct phone number from the parent or the carer. And I can also show the content as well. So test SMS, please do not reply to this message. It's the same with push notification. I'll quickly go in to show you what it looks like. I'm just going to select all of my students for now. And with push notification, it's the same. I would just make my member selection, who's going to receive that push notification, type in the message, select translate to user preferred language if required, select this maximum 1 copy per contact if required, and then click send push notification. With push notifications, they are a great way to communicate with parents in that it doesn't cost the school or the school any money to do so. But please remember, if you are sending push notifications, if a parent has not registered for push notifications or they do not have the mobile app, they will not receive that communication. So if you are going to use push notifications, maybe use email as well. Or you also have the SMS facility. So that's it for messaging. So when you look at messaging, you've got emails, push notifications, or SMS, and you can message via an individual student. You can message all members within a group, all members, I should say, within an e-form. And you do have that message center on the left-hand side where you can also compose a message from and see analytics about messages previously sent within your account. The next part of Operoo that I wanted to touch on when it comes to messaging is news articles. News articles is a relatively new functionality of Operoo. I personally think it's great. I really like it. When you go to send a news article, it is basically that. It's the equivalent of an online notice board. So sending details around a school newsletter. or any upcoming events, details on fixtures, details on school term dates. With a news article, the main difference between a news article, or differences I should say, between a news article and an email is with a news article, it stays in the parent's account. As long as you have published that article and it's still active, the parent will also always be able to see that article. So there's not going to be an issue of the parent accidentally deleting the email or forgetting the emails there. That's not the case with a news article. It is always in the parent's account. Also, with a news article, you can choose to publish and archive that. So you say how long that article is going to be valid for. And with the article, you can add as many attachments as you would like, and you can rename those attachments. If you would like to send news articles, over here on the left-hand side above Messaging Center is the news articles icon. Clicking on that, it will open up into this screen. So within my test account, I've created several news articles. Straight away, I can see the title of those existing articles. I can see whether they're currently viewable, when they were automatically published, if they've automatically been archived, how many users they're visible to, if there's any attachments, when the article was created and who created that article. So I have all of that information right at the start. If I click on the 3 lines of this top article here, I then have a few other options. I can edit the article, I can delete it, I can archive it, I can preview it, I can send it, I can view the audience, or I can also duplicate that article. So if you are going to use news articles for monthly or weekly newsletters, you can duplicate that and then you still have those existing articles there and you're not overriding each time. When you go to create a news article, you would click Add News Article. There's a few processes that you need to go through now. So the first of which is the logo. Now you can use your organization logo if you wanted to. This will also show the photo of the staff member, which will have pulled through from your MIS, or if you're using the system as a standalone, that you would have added against that profile. You can, if you wanted to, you can upload an external image as well. So if you wanted to do that, you would just click Choose File, find that image and load it in. Then you would give your news article a title. Now I'm going to do it on Jubilee. So I'm going to do a Jubilee celebration. I'm going to change this, however, to the 26th of May. That's the title of my news article. And the body of my news article is going to read, Dear Parent Kara, in celebration for the upcoming Platinum Jubilee celebrations, don't forget the special Jubilee picnic is happening in school on the 26th of May from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Celebration games and prizes for the best Jubilee themed cake. See you all there. It's a free text field, so whatever information you would like to put in there. You also have the formatting options as well. So bold, highlight, underline. I might put an image in this one. So just clicking picture, I would then choose my file. I have some Jubilee images on file. If I can spell Jubilee, there we go. We'll put in that one. So there's a nice Jubilee image on a street party. Once you've put in your text, added any photos, you can add a link as well if you wanted to. If I wanted to add a link to the website, just put in school website for now. And insert link, and then I have that link there. Now I would put that, copy it down so it's on a different line, but just an example that you can add links as well. This is where you would also add an attachment. So clicking Add Attachment and then clicking Choose File. I'll put in another Jubilee. Adding that, and this is where I can rename it. So it's currently called Jubilee. I can rename that if I wanted to. From there, I can then choose to automatically publish or automatically archive. So if I wanted to automatically publish it, selecting that, this is one I would put in when it's going to publish. So you can publish articles in the future, or you can publish them when you first created them. You can also choose to automatically archive them. So for example, this one is the 26th of May. So I might choose to automatically archive this one on the 28th of May. After the fact, parents don't need to see that article anymore. Once you've set those details, clicking Save. It's just saving now. Shouldn't be too long. I think it's because I've added quite a large image. There we go. On the left-hand side, I have a preview of what the article would look like for any parents and carers who are viewing that on a computer. So as you can see, I've got the image, I've got the link, and I do have that Jubilee link. So if you click your URL, for example, to test it, this will then open up and show you that URL, just if you wanted to make sure that that URL that you've added is accurate. On the right-hand side, you can then see what it will look like for any parents or carers who are viewing that article on their mobile device. If you wanted to make any changes, simply clicking back will take you to the editing screen. If you're happy with the article as it stands, clicking next, and you're then asked who's going to receive that article. So this is driven by your groups. So on the left-hand side under my parents, I can select it to go to all of my parents if I wanted to. So Walsh Primary School, I've got 7 parents selected. You can also choose to send to staff as well. So if I added my staff also, it jumps up to 7 parents selected and 31 staff selected. So make that selection however you need to make that selection, depending on who's going to receive that news article. Once you've made your selection, you can also send to students as well if you wanted to, if you are using student accounts. Down here, the last setting that I have is send notifications, email and mobile push notifications. This is how you're going to notify the user, so the parent, the carer, the staff member or the student, that they have a new news article within Operoo that they need to look at. If I select this, I will receive an email, I receive a push notification letting me know that that new news article is there. Once you've made that selection, then clicking send. I'm then shown a message, are you sure you want to send to 38 users now? So that's my 31 staff and my 7 parent. Clicking OK. And that's now gone. So I can see that it's automatically published. It's going to be automatically archived. I've got my users and I've got my image there. So I can see all of that information. Now, what I'll quickly do is I'll jump over to my staff view. So I'm just going to jump to my staff view now. And as a staff member, just here on the right-hand side, I've got a 1. So I know as a staff member that I have a new news article. I would have also received an email. And down here, I have new news articles to read. So this will be the same as parents. So either clicking view or clicking up here on the top right-hand side will take me to my news articles. And there's my news article, Dear Parent Carer, Jubilee Celebration. There's a few others that I have, but this is what it would look like to either the parent, the carer, the staff member, or the student if you do send them a news article. So that is news articles. There are knowledge-based articles, as I said, on how to complete these tasks. If you do have any questions at all about messaging or news articles or any functionality within Operoo, please contact the support team or please contact your dedicated customer success manager, and we will be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much for your time.